Hi, I'm Joleigh. I'm 14 years old and I go to GEMS International School. I'm the writer of The Expeditions of Edwin, and other than reading and writing, in my free time, I enjoy playing basketball. So what inspired me to write the story was actually the movie Toy Story, which I drew inspiration from it a lot because I was a big fan of it when I was growing up. And so I really like the concept of giving an object a perspective and an opinion and telling the story from the perspective of a toy. And I found it really interesting. So the concept was from there. And then the inspiration for the character of my story, which is the bear, came from one of my old toys, a toy bear, which I used to carry around a lot. And yeah, so that's where the inspiration came from. So when I write stories, I don't usually have a plan. I kind of have like a basic structure, so the characters I want to include in the story, and then I kind of have a basic understanding of what I want to put as the ending. And then when I write, I just write it spontaneously and I fill in the gaps with whatever I want to fill it in with. And yeah, I just like to write like that because I feel like there's more space for creativity and you can add like whatever you want as you go along the story. So with this story as well, I didn't really plan it out. I had a basic understanding of the characters and I knew what I was gonna write at the end, and then I just filled it in. One of the challenges that I faced was because the story was told from the perspective of a toy bear, it was kind of hard for me to like put myself into the shoes of an object, because obviously an object doesn't have like their own opinions and they can't actually tell you how they're feeling. So it was kind of difficult, and I had to really be creative with that and try to like imagine, if I were a toy bear, how would I act in these situations that I put the character in? So, yeah. Currently, I'm not working on anything because of school and I've just been really busy. But, if I had the time, I would like to write another short story. But for now, I'm not working on anything. I have 3 tips. So the first one would be to read a lot, because it's sort of like practice. As you read as you read books, you can gain more writing skills. And yeah. So the second tip is also, when you're working on a project like a story or an essay or anything like that, don't try and cram it all into one day, because if you do that, you get really stressed. And I learned this from experience. If you write everything all in one day, the quality of your work will most likely be not as great as if, rather than if you spread it out on separate days. So it kind of gives your brain like a little rest. And then my third tip is to write regularly. Again, it's sort of like a practice. So even if you're not working on like an assessment or an assignment or a short story, just write regularly, like any time you can, just write. The sound of the swinging door opening with a soft swish is implanted in my mind. Having heard it repeated so many times, it becomes a monotone tune. I watch as unwilling parents are dragged into the store by the hand of their small children, excited to choose a toy or stuffed animal to accompany them for the rest of their short-lived childhoods, to football matches, dreaded doctor's appointments, or their first day of school. It is amazing how much one can observe being sat on the top shelf of the wooden cupboard in a tiny doll store of a small town for 15 years. The top shelf is home to unwanted toys like myself, battered and used, longing for the day where we are finally chosen, to be embraced in the arms of a happy child. As for me, I once had an owner, lovely and sweet as could be. I can still remember her velvety chocolate brown hair against my fur as she held me tight in bed, or the smell of her backpack that I was stuffed in every time she brought me along to class. My story with her was a great one, and the times we had together were unforgettable. I miss her tremendously. Her name was Clementine. It was Clementine's mother who had knitted me as a gift for her 6th birthday. I loved watching her face light up at the first sight of me. "Thank you, Ma. How beautiful he is. I've always wanted a bear like this one," she shrieked in delight. "I shall name you Edwin," she smiled. And just like that, I was Edwin.